Good afternoon, and it's great to have you this afternoon. It happens to be the very first Monday of the month of April, the second quarter of the year 2022. I'm Andrew Chamagran, and we're live from Kampala's Serena Conference Center. Now, Forum for African Women Educationists, that is FAWE Uganda chapter, is one of the 34 national chapters of Forum for African Women Educationists, a pan-African non-government organization founded in 1992 by 5 women ministers of education to promote girls and women's education in Africa. Now, FAWE Uganda was established in 1997 with the goal of accelerating female participation in education and closing the gender gaps within the education system at all levels in Uganda to enhance opportunities for the girls to attain quality education and skills through sponsorship, social protection, institutional strengthening and advocacy. This organization this year, it is celebrating 25 years and still going strong. Now, joining me in this conversation this afternoon is Honorable Maria Matembe, the human rights defender. We have Susan Opok Tumsime, the ED FAWE, and Margaret Atim Mongeni, the board chairperson of FAWE. This program is powered by FAWE and Breaking Barriers to the Girls' Future Through Education. Be a part of this conversation on Twitter and the other digital platforms with the hashtag FAWE@25. Good afternoon, ladies. Good to see you, and good to see you. Happy New Year's.
Oh, Happy New Year.
For starters, I want to start with ED. How are we holding up on the ground as FAWE?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. I want to believe that we are holding up very strongly, and especially given the aspects of the pandemic and its impact on girls' education, and broadly its impact on girls. One of the key outcomes of the pandemic through the study that FAWE undertook was increased pregnancies. We saw between March and June of 2020, 3 months, 22.5% increase in pregnancies of 10 to 24-year-olds. And when we looked at the 10 to 14-year-olds, it was a staggering increment of 366.5%.
That's huge.
In the incidence of pregnancies. So that tells you that there is a challenge for the girls. That we need to take care of. I'm aware that schools started after about 2 years, so many things happened. A lot of young mothers, a lot of girls not coming back to school, a lot of girls getting engaged with economic activities to support their families. Girls have actually, because of their vulnerability, been utilized as baggage or points of actually, I don't know what to say.
So painful.
It's painful because the girl child is being flouted as the caretaker of parents. By parents. They have been abused by, parents. They've been abused by community leaders, including religious leaders. They've been abused by friends and so on. So the issues around girls, surrounding girls, is really pertinent. We are in a crisis, I must say.
Yeah.
And as human beings, as people that have a sound mind, we really need to come through and support these girls to thrive, to lead dignified lives. Of course, now they have baggage. They have their children to take care of, and
as
schools,
well as
schools also do not, cannot factor that in. So there's a lot of changes that have occurred in the framework within which girls can present themselves. Okay. And that means that we need to do something different.
Honorable Miriam Matembe, when you listen to Susan, she uses a word crisis. We are at a crisis level when it gets to the girl child in this country. What does this mean to you?
Actually, if you are living in Kampala, you don't have to go very far. I feel so bad and at times hate myself when I go down these roads, like at golf course. You take that road and see in the morning and the girls, the young girls carrying young girl baby. But I don't know what to do. Every time I want to avoid that road. But when I passed another one, I saw the same. And I'm saying, but surely, is this Miriam Matembe here saying, I fight for justice and fairness, and in particular for the women and the young girls? I mean, what can I do? I feel like I don't know. What do I do, God? Many times I have said, I wish she desired, I wish I had authority and any institution of power in this country which can focus on these young people. I just don't understand. You don't have to go far when she says crisis to prove that actually there is a crisis. Now, the crisis she's talking about is to do with this, what COVID did to us. You know what COVID did? I have always told Ugandans here, they say that's Matembe shouting for the women and that kind of thing. But I have always said that gender inequality,
it's a real issue.
Gender inequality and women's disempowerment is a real big problem, coupled with gender-based violence, which is about power relations between men and women. Now, when COVID came in, whatever I had been saying, we people who are in that thing, the reason why we formed FAWE, the reason why we have these organizations fighting for gender equality, it came out publicly. So whatever we've been hiding behind scenes came out in public. And you could see that we have talked about gender-based violence. They were thought we were joking. You could see it wide in public. We talked about defilement and sexual harassment of young girls, and this time it was too much. And let me tell you, I was so involved during COVID. And by the way, I have no office which I hold. I have no organization these days which I am in. I am Miriam Matembe, but everybody who is suffering this kind of suffering, they say Matembe is there. They call me, they ring. During COVID time, we had to work with Uganet. We established this shelter. We are, in fact, by the time COVID stage 1 of our first lockdown, I remember we had 190 women. 190 women, I'm telling you, with young girls raped by their fathers, raped by their uncles, by their cousins, including sheikhs, including reverends, including even some of the girls are still there. I was there involved in all this kind of thing. And that's when we found out that all these people now, like 14,000 girls, have been defied, raped, some of whom are pregnant, some of whom have been delivered, but many of them have been married off. I had a personal incident of where a certain woman ran all the way, was it Masaka? She came looking for me, she came and took refuge in my house. And then the next, I think they had phone following. Do you know these people whom I found at my gate? They entered, actually I found them inside. When I went to greet them, they didn't know it was Matembe's house, but they were trapping. The phone was trapping, and they ended up in a house, and they saw my house. There is, praise God, angels on guard. They said that is a church. They thought of it was a chapel or church. They came in, and they were assistant inspector police, Simanyi, lieutenant who, Simanyi, they were not in their uniform. But when I sat and asked them, okay, you are welcome, who are you? They told me they are those. I said, I'm Miriam Matembe. The moment some of them saw me, and they were also with women, aunties of this girl coming
looking
to take
for her.
the girl that she has run away from marriage. They were supposed to celebrate the marriage the other day. And after I sat with them, I said, I'm ringing police to come and arrest you. They had to kneel down and say, forgive us, honorable. They told their story. We reached agreement that the girl is going to, okay, now that we have known, we are not going to marry her off and so on. You think they did? They didn't.
What happened?
I said, okay, you go. Now that I've seen you, mother, I've talked to aunt and so
the
on,
issue.
you go. Then the girl, they rang me, the girl is getting married. When I said, what is it? He said, yes, I have accepted my parents because they want to ostracize me. And I said, what can I do? 2 days later, there was another one from Fort Portal. And then when I talked to the father, he said, you know what? These people, are already marrying. The people, many girls are marrying at 16, 15. Now mine will be taken away like that. I would rather marry them out officially instead of taking them away like that. So the problem is the parents got so scared that some of them, to get these girls married out, is because during COVID, I think there was so much. You talk about also pornography and what do you call it? This modern technology
social media
has caused a lot of danger. Some of those girls were sleeping with their brothers, some of them with their cousins. So lockdown caused a crisis among the women and the girl child. What is so painful though is that I stand to be proved right. I do not see anybody, I will say anybody, in government who see the things
as
the way
urgent
we see
as
them,
it is,
who know them the way we know them. Because if they did, I want to know which special, specific program, which first of all begins with research. Immediate, you know,
data.
there is what they call, you educationists, where immediate, when you want to get sampling, what do you call that? Immediate research here where you...
The scoping.
Random, where you can get a picture, and on the basis of this picture, you move on and see what actions you can take, what programs you can draw. I do not think that there is any ministry in this country doing that.
Body Chair, when you hear what Susan and Honorable Miriam Matembe are alluding to, you as a board chair of FAWE celebrating 25 years and looking at 25 years of enhancing girls and women's education for development. There is a crisis, as they have explained. From your lenses as board chair, because you are at the oversight level, what do you see?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's indeed a crisis. But this crisis has been brought on the table, indirectly as a blessing, to inform FAWE that we still have a long way to go. FAWE began as a result of looking into the traditional norms, so-called norms, of where supremacy of the male over the female, whereby education for the girl child was almost unknown. And as we have introduced at the beginning, FAWE is now, for Uganda, FAWE is now 25 years. And we are marking a positive change. And if we are going to celebrate, okay, well, of course we are going to celebrate. We have a lot of achievements. But at the same time, much as we are looking at the achievements, we are looking at this crisis. What is the message? To me, the message is we are still far. We are still far. And the girl child is still bonded, is still enslaved by the masculine figures in their homesteads. In the homesteads, in the communities, in the districts, name it, is bonded or enslaved. I think the right word is enslaved, the girl child. Because, sincerely speaking, a girl child, as our research shows, and as Matembo is saying, raped by cousins, raped by uncles, raped, name it. Scientifically speaking, let alone other factors, this is very unfortunate. But FAWE is celebrating 25 years of enhancing girls. These girls, while FAWE would be happy there, I mean, would still celebrate. All these girls who have been raped, who are pregnant, are girls who have been in the school. Probably if it was 25 years ago, these would be girls who would be out of school, already maybe married and so on. But these are girls who are in school. So it brings a double shot now. This is a girl child who is not yet really, has not biologically matured, is put into this biological state of pregnancy or marriage. At the same time, this is a girl who is supposed to continue the education. Education is a right for everybody. And forwards to really shout on top of the hills, education is a right for each and every human being, girl or boy. And now, it has happened. Normally, one can have an occasion, it has happened. What are we to do about it? And that I think is the most important. So as we mark 25 years of what? Enhancing girls' education, we look at what we have achieved, but at the same time, what are the current challenges? These are the challenges. The basic challenge is the masculine force of humanity is still on to the negative, inflicting all the pains and denials on the feminine, on the feminine sector of humanity. Why? So we are here now to call upon all of us Ugandans. These are our sisters. These are our grandchildren. These are our daughters. Name it.
These are
Let us not be quiet about it. Okay. FAWE is one of the NGOs, or non-government organizations. They are advocating, and FAWE has been there on the top since 1997. Why did FAWE begin that? Would I say, why should FAWE Uganda, why did FAWE Uganda start in 1997? It was called upon into existence because of those roots, bad roots of traditional norms, where the girl child at that time was really not known to be someone to go to school. If she goes to school, let her go and learn how to read and write. Wait for the breast to come out and go and marry.
And get married.
So that's what inspired the 5 women, ministers of education. Moreover, they were ministers of education in Africa to start off. And Uganda, we jumped onto the boat. We said we are also
part of this conversation.
We are also part of the conversation.
Susan,
we have gone far, but
those are critical.
Yeah, that's crisis.
Susan, when
with special attention.
You started the word crisis, and it has actually taken us all through back and forth. When you look at the parenting, have we lost it as parents of this country? Because part of the strong fiber which comes with morals and values, it's the families. With your research, the one I read, the study was appalling. I should say it scared me. As a father, it was like, I think I need to pay more attention. Maybe I'm not seeing what is in my communities and all that. With all that went around, do you as FAWE look at the parenthood as one of the tools that have been either taken with a laissez-faire approach, or it is something we have not held with the esteem it should be held with?
Interesting question. And I would like us to contextualize it as
Please.
Well. I say interesting because ideally the family unit should be the stronghold of society. At the same time, putting it into perspective, the family unit has been affected by so many things. So those that, oftentimes you find that those that are ingrained in religion kind of stand to say that, the family unit must stand. Nonetheless, there is an issue about rights, the rights to create a family, but also to get out of the family. So you find that people today, I can get up one day, I'm in a family, the next day
you're out of the family.
I'm out of the family, and at the same time expect and anticipate that things will still be okay, which isn't the case. 2 is an issue about the societies that we have lived in and continue to live in, and the numerous challenges that come through. We have civil strife. We have upheavals in one way or the other. So that in itself also affects the family, the well-being of the family. And I'll give an example of, let's say, northern Uganda. Once upon a time, we had war in northern Uganda, and we had young children abducted into,
the camps.
Yes, and eventually these young people produced,
of course, babies as well.
Babies, so they lost out in parenting. and became parents, and their children are parents. So I don't know what kind of parents, you know, when we're talking about parenting, who is that parent? You and I, who probably are lucky to have, you know, gone to school, lived in a good environment from a middle class, if we can call it, I mean, may have a good society, but at the same time, in our homes, there is telecommunication, social media, and I have also to work. If I'm coming to in Kampala, you know, there is you have to wake up at 5 to go and work, especially for women. Many of them are in the markets. Many of them are in places where they really have to get out of the house, and
they're risky areas as well.
Yes, and go and you know, look for livelihood and sustenance for the family. So then the family isn't, or the parents of today probably aren't the kind of having, you know, that parenting framework that is presumed to be very normal, and yet at the same time it has to work.
Wow.
So it's really a catch-22. Yes.
Wow.
It's a catch-22.
Honorable Miriam Matembe, as one of the founders for FAWE Uganda here, have we achieved the vision from where we started? At least I understand that there has been quite a lot of people who have reached, over 20 million people have been reached through different platforms of FAWE, including media engagements, awareness creation, community mobilization. But when we go back to the development of the woman and the girl child, have we achieved as FAWE?
Of course. Of course, when FAWE came in, actually it came in as one of the, that was after Beijing. Isn't it? Yes. Because when we went to Beijing, I think we identified 12 critical areas of concern in the whole world where each country should focus towards gender equality and women's empowerment. If they were to deal with gender equality and women's empowerment, they had to focus on 12 critical areas. I mean, it's long ago. I can't remember those. I've been resting for the last 16 years because I did my part and finished. But I remember education was one of them, legal, economic empowerment, legal empowerment, you know, all those areas. Now, the ministers of education in Africa, they picked that education. Of course, you always run with what you want. Me, I would run with politics and legal. Political participation is one of the areas, for you. One of the areas of those 12. I remember in Beijing, I addressed I gave a keynote address, you know, to the whole conference on the strategies to increase women's participation in politics.
Nice.
That's what I did.
That's why you would have chosen
if
that.
If you book that book which says Looking at the World Through a Women's Eye, you'll find my statement there.
I will find.
So, of course, when those women came, they put together here Honorable Mpanga, the Sarantiros, all those distinguished women that we stood, on whose shoulders we stood, came out with this plan, and then we joined it, and we ran with the education of the girl child. Surely, nobody can come out and say that the education of the girl child did not improve in this country. You know, even to the extent that the girls, they have even forgotten. They think things were normal like that.
Because they were born today. So.
Yes, because they don't know. They don't know that
a woman like,
they don't know that a woman like Miriam Matembe, how I fought to my parents. I'm very brilliant. I'm defeating this boy. They putting me out of school because the boy must go in school. I had to get my own personal bursary when I was 13 years. I went to an education office and got my own personal bursary. You think my struggle started yesterday?
They were putting you out of education.
Putting me out, and you know, and then when I passed to go to study my law, because I wanted to go and study law and say what it is saying about this unfair situation, then my father said, no, not in my house. You cannot study law. I'm telling you. These are the things I'm telling you. Right now, I'm still alive to tell you. Now, when you know, that you see all the women studying engineering, technology. The women of Uganda, there is no course they cannot study. Can you imagine? It was not like that. The women of Uganda go to study everything. There's no, in terms of when you pass, when you do what, there's no discrimination. You study any course. And you go out and do any work. And they have increased. You remember our 1.5, which we fought for with the University Women Association, for the FIDA and University Women Association, so that you go to the university now, you find more girls in certain courses than the boys. And even they tell you that at primary level, the intake, the registration for girl child, you find that is higher than the boy child, except that now what comes out is this mentality, this imprisonment of what do you patriarchy, what you were calling it something, this patriarchy mentality, masculine patriarchy mentality, which actually we had started working on. Let me tell you, I want to put the whole situation within the context. In Uganda, FAWE did a great job. Any organization did a great job when it comes to gender equality and women's empowerment. The problem now which is happening is we are going in reverse. The political, the political environment coupled the violent political environment, injustice, corruption,
but
all
back in
these
the days,
things.
there was a political will. There were people on the floor of parliament who were pushing this.
When NRM National Resistance Movement, government, not party, not
movement.
When it came here in 1986, and I'm not saying that they are not the first one, they are the first ones to promote gender equality and women's empowerment. No, at independence, women were there, they fought. Those Mpangas, the Florence, they would tell you, they fought for independence, they struggled together. But as usual in any other country, when they get the so-called independence which you got, then they forget us. Because the violence came in, the political, women cannot fare well in a violent, non-just atmosphere. They can't. So when such kind of environment comes, the corruption, the injustice, the immorality, the whatever, all these things which have invaded this country have silenced or taken away the conducive environment under which we are running with the struggle for gender equality and women's empowerment. Secondly, there is no political will. The political will which was there at that time when I came with my dream and
disrupted.
Fell onto I really disrupted. You disrupted. I can assure you. I disrupted every atmosphere, every attitude. I disrupted. And then we moved. And things went on and we started moving and doing well. But as we talk now, the greed for power and materialism, which has consumed the leadership in this country, has destroyed every strategy, every program to move forward. It is not only gender equality which is not moving, but every other thing.
Wow. But when you listen to this, Susan was alluding to the family unit, that it depends on the parenting where your lenses meet. Honorable Miriam Matembe comes in with the political aspect of the political will that we're driving backwards. Much as we're driving backwards, there are some things FAWE has achieved. Among those, I want to believe that there are some girls who have actually excelled at the different lanes, which we can't sweep under the carpet. But while you have been doing that, there have been some challenges. Do you mind sharing some challenges as a board chair, what you've seen and how best we're mitigating these?
Thank you. I would like to begin off with the concept of parent. To share a bit what the ED brought up as who is a parent. And that's probably most likely to be the cause of what's happening now. And when this issue of pregnancies and deliveries and marriages accelerated. Many mouth were talking of parents, do be serious.
Yeah.
Parents, my question is, who is a parent? A parent is me and you. A parent is any adult. Let's go back to our culture. A parent was supposed to be any adult in that community.
Yes.
Keyword is adult.
Yes, any adult in that community. Why adult? Adult has enough experience and knowledge to guide the young one. That's why we call them young. Yeah. So that is our role as adults in a community. So we cannot just pin a parent, not simply biological. Biological is a parent, but beyond that, the communities. Now, even unfortunately, even the political structures which are put in place to act as parents do not have the good way, as my honorable is saying. I mean, like the police.
Some say they don't have the funds to
the
expedite these cases.
How many councillors do we have down at the grassroots? The structure of government has gone so far from top to the very top, to my doorstep at home. What am I doing as a councillor in my community? What am I doing as a teacher? Am I not going to the classroom to teach A plus B? What am I doing as a medical person? There are so many. So all the adults, we are all to blame in Uganda, not the biological parents. Or would I say, all the biological parents plus the grandparents plus the uncles plus the aunties. I think all of us remember the auntie, the Senga system. Where has it gone?
You see what
if the pregnancy, if the birth, we are talking of menstruation, if it has grown, the menstruation is from, it used to be 12 to 13. If it has moved to 8, where are the Sengas to come in and say, by the way, my daughter, the breast is already peeping, and the Senga starts the job. The child gets to know that, a man can do A, B, C, D. Those systems are not there. And the systems are broken down because of the type of economy we have.
Okay.
The economy those days, someone used to call himself or herself, himself, because it was a masculine community. Because I have children, good children, I am keeping
children
them well. And of course, unfortunately, there was polygamy. I have many wives and many children. But it was focusing on humanity.
But
my children are behaving, my children are, my wives are good. The good thing is just focusing on humanity. Now, what is our focus? I'm a billionaire of many dollars or euros or whatever. That's the focus. That's what it means. It's not in the number of children I have. It's not how my child is behaving. No. Who
we
am
don't have
I?
Time for them. You have time for
I don't have
money.
the time for that. I'm running my business. I don't have the time for this. I go back with my laptop at home. I have no time for the children. The Senga has no time to visit the brother. Let alone everything is mixed up because of the diversion in the economy.
No. Okay, what I want to come in with, I do agree with what you are saying. But we cannot continue to live in history.
Yeah, we need to find a way forward.
Because those days when my mother, my aunt, anybody in the villages were my mother, they find you playing at the Wero.
With some boys.
You run it. No, not even
just playing.
Hey,
when
they
it's
sent
time
you
for
to fetch
something
water.
else.
Now you are there playing. Any woman would come. You run back home because you know.
The community was embedded.
The community was involved. But of course we need to really understand that individualistic community life has broken off. It is not there anymore. The Senga is not there anymore. They are also battling with their own problems out there. And that's when I say, for me, we can't live in history regretting about that.
Bringing in cancer.
What must happen? Now, what must happen?
We have police posts everywhere.
What we must have are the new strategies to meet the new challenges. We must have new ways of life, of living to fit in the challenges, to meet the challenges that we are facing. What I wanted to say is, which she ended up with, the high levels of moral decadence and ethical value degeneration in this country has destroyed the moral fabric of the country. Human beings. Okay? The moral fabric of human beings is destroyed because of no ethical value, the moral degeneration. That's why you find a man, Banange, I have been having a girl. She even ran mad, took to Tabuka, counseling, where imagine somebody's father dies and you, the uncle, rapes the girl and takes her and aborts her. Your brother, another one, rapes the girl. And the judge who is there saying, don't mention, because if they mention, she can't go to school. Somebody, this is in Ushenyi, not far. Somebody had to ring me, and I told them, bring me this girl. They had to bring me the girl. I'd take her to that house of ours in Uganda, and she stayed there. We've been looking for man actually for her school fees. That is only one. But they brought me another one. Now I go to the moral ethical value and moral degeneration. Why should men go to impregnate their nephews and nieces? I can't understand. What is this? And let me tell you, nobody's focusing on this. Exactly. When I became the first minister for ethics and integrity, that sort of portfolio was being held by the vice president of Uganda, because when corruption in 1996, after elections, corruption had started to be a problem. And President Museveni appointed vice president and gave her a docket of fighting corruption. Now, when she started to do the fighting of corruption, she came to realization that actually corruption is a symptom of a bigger issue, a fundamental problem of moral and ethical value decadence and degeneration. And that is the origin of the Ministry for Ethics and Integrity. And therefore the Ministry of Ethics for Integrity was established, and I was handed over the docket. I'm the one actually who worked out what it should be. It was supposed to build ethics and integrity, both mainly in public office to deal with corruption and in families. And in fact, by the time I left, we had come out with a strategy where we wanted to traverse the whole of Uganda and reach every tribe and whatever, and ask them, what do you want, what do you perceive to be the values that you believe in this region? And our intention was we would get all these values, ESCO values, we code them. We code them and we put them in parliament, and we get the national, we turn them into national, we put them in parliament, which would endorse them and pass them, and then we start even teaching them in schools and mobilizing people about them. That was one of my that was a milestone. Yes, and here we are. I would have got it, I'm telling you. And here we are going backwards. Apart from fighting corruption, coordinating the government's efforts to fight corruption and build ethics and integrity, that was my docket. Now, ever since I left, it went down. I don't know whether the minister ever is there. I don't know what became of it. I don't know what happened. But the truth is that moral decadence and ethical value degeneration coupled with advancement. I mean, we have changed, we have advanced, and that technology adds so much. I didn't know how people got pregnant when I was 13 years. When my mother took me to Weranyanji, she told me there was a swamp there full of water and a very rough skeleton of vehicles which had fallen there. Imagine a child of 13. And he told me, if you ever become pregnant, never come back home. Throw yourself into that swamp. Do you know what made me who I became, not looking at sex? The swamp. My counselor, my mentor, or not getting pregnant was not my mother.
It was the swamp.
It was the swamp. It was because
the fear.
And she even told me about this swamp. I didn't know how people get pregnant, but when I saw the swamp, I said, me, no. I can't fall into this swamp. When I reached senior 2, we studied Introduction to Biology.
Yes.
I learned how people become pregnant. I said, so it is a voluntary affair. If it is voluntary, I cannot get pregnant. But now, what I want to say is,
in a minute.
So our parents, it was terrorist approach. I will not deceive you that any Senga talked to me, or even my mother talked to me about Konkaka Augmanaje. I see you will get pregnant. By the way, she used to say, you will get pregnant before you bleed. I didn't even know what bleeding meant, but it was terrorism. Terrorism.
Fear.
But this terrorism made us reach where we reached. Now, terrorism has not been replaced by counseling and personal attachment. The parents need to know that this is your child, and you befriend this child, and right from the beginning, talk to this child, befriend her, introduce her to godly principles, so that this child will grow up not in terrorism, but in friendly and counseling, and that substitution should have come in, but it has not come in.
Margaret, that brings me back to you. You are finalizing with my answer. I still needed that answer from you.
Oh, you were still, I'm sorry.
Don't worry, okay.
No, just to conclude that, of course, the moral decay and all that. When humanity, or when human beings, they focus themselves to things from humanity, that means they have lost the integrity.
Absolutely, yes.
That is the bit where Vulnerable picked up from me. They have lost. You value the TV more than your child. Now, your question was?
My question was about, with all these, what are some of the challenges you're looking at? You talked about the political will, the parenthood.
You said the achievements.
Yes. Now the achievements are going forward.
We are 25 years old. That's the Jubilee. They called it what? Silver Jubilee?
Silver Jubilee.
Silver Jubilee does not just come every day.
Yeah.
FAWE has been on the ground for these 25 years. And just as Honorable talked about, because of time, I wanted to give myself a lot of time of how did I become a scientist. By the way, I'm a scientist, where our president is looking for science people. I'm a scientist.
He says they're the ones who tell him my scientists told me.
But I happen to be the only girl in my Gomborora who had gone to secondary. And that secondary was in Uganda. I'm from Tororo. And I was like an apparition. When I would go home, people would come to look, this one has gone to secondary. A girl child. A girl. And they would ask my father, what's the problem? Why do you not watch house? There's a lot I could say, but because of time. But many of us who are now our age, senior citizens of today, we know how difficult it was. I mean, girls, we women, how difficult it was to achieve what we achieved.
Indeed.
So when we are looking at FAWE today, enhancing girls' education, that's exactly what FAWE has done for the last 25 years. They have enhanced the girls' education. First of all, what I would like to really thank FAWE for, attitude change.
Of the girl child.
No?
Of the entire
community.
Society,
to know that a girl has a right to go to school just equally as a boy.
As a boy.
Yes.
Girls were remaining home because you are a girl. That's how they would tell them. You are a girl. Just as I've said, people coming to say, hey, why are you leaving the girl to continue to secondary? The girl was not supposed to continue to school. Now, right now, very few parents or very few human beings in Uganda, sincerely, who can start saying, thinking it's only boys who go to school and girls. So attitude change. FAWE works through influencing policies, but that's the end point. But the beginning point is making awareness, the impact through awareness and advocacy. Awareness and advocacy. And then fiscal touch through sponsorship, identifying. FAWE, actually, I would like to get a millisecond to say, when I was still in a school setting, I was a mentor, and that is somewhere in the Western Barara. And I was impressed so much by FAWE. Sent me a list of 5 girls. Wow. Can you please trace these girls to their roots? Are they really poor, as they are saying? And he did. When I went, I could not believe. I told FAWE, you have a very good system. How did you identify this girl?
She was headmistress of one of the schools.
How did you? One of the girls, one house was both a granary, a chicken house, the one goat which was there, and the kitchen or the store for plates and so on, the same room. And then the parents with the curtain like that, and then the children. This child was going to senior 1. The children sleeping this way on a mat. Which type of mat? From banana leaves.
Wow.
And far away from Kampala. The phone calls from Kampala. Go and search. Is this girl really poor? Because of that, their networking system has touched the girls. So many. If we had the time for these girls to come out and say, me, I was like this, me, I was like.
And we used to go there to talk to them.
Yeah.
I have so many who are
now,
in Parliament.
some of the fruit we are seeing.
In Parliament, there are many.
In the 80s, I would say, 80s before I had started. In the 80s, I don't know how many MPs were women.
Okay. Today we have more.
But no more. We have almost 35%.
That's a huge number.
From zero in the 25 years. Huh?
Well done.
From the zero we had. How about attitude change on performance of girls? Girls were supposed to be stupid to take on literature and history, as if literature and history
teaching and nothing
and go to become secretaries and whatever. Now, through FAWE, because FAWE would identify these girls I'm talking about. What FAWE would identify very intelligent girls down there in the grassroots. Put them in good school. Those days to do the schools would be, my school was Mary Hill, now Namagunga, the Gayaza, and so on. So these girls would excel, and so on. These are the girls now we have as engineers. These are the girls we have as doctors. Those days, who would hear a girl taking electrical engineering? How would you climb the pole? Oh, that is influenced through advocacy, awareness, real identification, encouragement, mentoring. In fact, the mentoring system of FAWE has been excellent through the FAWE. Anyone who had a touch towards FAWE, including me,
you would see that.
Yes, coming. Because I have a passion for girl child. I'm sure I got it from FAWE. Because I happened to be among the first teachers who were called on to be educated.
Because of time, Margaret, allow me.
And then just finally, now, at the end of it all, I have talked of the attitude changing performance. Came a time in the 90s where girls' schools would top. Maybe 3-4 girls top.
I remember, yes.
And the boys' school. Oh, that is the impact of FAWE.
Yes.
Plus all the engineers we have, name it. Because of time, we can continue.
Thank you so much. Now, Susan, we can have this conversation. I don't even know why we have only 1 hour to talk about this. Now, as we're celebrating 25 years of FAWE, we have had the history, the achievements, and the way forward. How are we celebrating it? What are some of the activities at hand? If we would like to join the conversation of celebrating the Silver Jubilee of FAWE, it could be a Ugandan up in a BIM district or in a Molate district, but is a beneficiary of FAWE. Or even us here, how would we join the celebration? What are the activities underway?
Thank you very much. A lot has been said and a lot still needs to be done. Now, as we celebrate the Silver Jubilee, 25 years of enhancing girls' education, we have a lot of activities. One is that we should have had a general launch by the First Lady and Minister of Education. Nonetheless, we are together mourning the passing of the speaker. Yes, as a country, because we should have had the launch at the Kololo ceremonial grounds on the 31st, but this has been pushed to the 29th of April. So we'll have the First Lady launching the celebration as well as the drive to ensure that more girls are taken to school. And this is in line with her campaign, Protect the Girl and Save the Nation. So we are going to have a pre-event, and that is a run on the 9th of April, a 10-kilometer run, starting at Kitante Primary School, ending in the same place. And so we are actually selling kits and inviting the public to be part of this fundraising drive.
Nice.
The kits are being sold at 25,000 shillings, and they are in various places. So please get in touch with FAWE and be part of this run. The kit is somewhere. Yeah, it's somewhere.
Bring our kit.
So we have the kit.
Yes, so this is a kit that has probably, Chair, we can have some of the items shown. So please, let's purchase the kit and be part of the process of running and fundraising for the girl child. We'll also have a car wash.
Oh, that's
car
nice.
wash, yes. Also to further facilitate the fundraising drive, because FAWE would like to send. FAWE would like to send. Yes, this is the kit. You know, it's 25 years. Give her a chance. The issue is about giving every girl a chance to education. Education, as has been said, is a right.
Yeah.
So let's ensure that we actually buy this kit and give her a chance
To stay in school.
There are so many girls, as we said, 366.5% of the 10 to 14-year-olds pregnant. They need to return to school.
Oh, yeah.
22.5% 10 to 24-year-olds in 3 months of the lockdown out of school probably.
That's a huge
I'll just give an example. One of the members of parliament, Honorable Ayume, at a national dialogue last year indicated that there was a boy in West Nile that pregnanted 13 girls in 1 month. And actually, the leaders of West Nile called FAWE to go and discuss pregnancy in West Nile in November 2021. So it is a reality.
It's a huge one.
It is a reality. So we need to send these girls to school.
Okay.
So we are talking about the run on the 9th of April. We are talking about car wash.
Will the car wash be on the same day?
No.
Okay.
Subsequent, yes. Then we'll also have some awareness creation within these activities to tell people about the circumstances of girls, the vulnerabilities and the vices meted on girls, and what we need to do as a society to ensure that our girls live in safe environments, in conducive environments, and that they are supported. We'll also have a dinner to finalize the activities in October, and we are just calling upon partners, private sector, civil society, individuals, you and I. Let's come together and contribute some funds to take girls to school. It is your responsibility, it is my responsibility. We must save this nation, and we are saying protect the girl and save the nation.
Thank
so
you.
Give her a chance.
Well, you've heard it from the ladies here. The conversation was much more like that. But just to bring you to speed, to those who want to buy the kit for the marathon or the charity run, kindly give them a call on 0772 48 72 99. Again, 0772 48 72 99. A kit is only 25,000 Ugandan shillings. You want to keep a girl in school, to give her another chance, just buy this kit, come and run, be a part of these activities. We have the charity run, we have the car wash, and then we have the dinner and some awareness campaigns. But these can only be done by FAWE. But in your community, in your area where you reside, be the champion to protect the girl child from all the evils and the vices around them. I'm Andrew Chamagero, and this program was powered by FAWE Uganda chapter, and in studios I had Opoka Susan, who happens to be the executive director of a FAWE Uganda chapter. We had Honorable Miriam Atembe, who happens to be a human rights defender, and we had Margaret, the board chair. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Those who have been online, apologies, I wouldn't pick your tweets, but we can be a part of more of this conversation because we're celebrating 25 years. Good afternoon.